my role is not just to be there to support my daughter in helping her build the skills she needs to live everyday life, but it's to help her imagine more, to dream big and believe in herself to live the life she wants. G'day, I'm Debra Caldow, and welcome to the Red Giraffe Solutions Expanding Worlds podcast, where we aim to support you as you help your young person with additional needs plan for their future. A future where they are safe, secure, and live a rewarding and fulfilling life. From around the world, I share stories and share solutions from people making this possible right now. I'm a parent of a young person with additional needs, so I understand the challenges. Many of the people I've interviewed on this podcast have already helped me design a better future for my daughter, and I hope that they might help you as well to imagine what's possible for your young person. I think that I'm a practical person, especially when it comes to my daughter and the ways in which I support her. The things that I focus on with her tend to be practical things, like making sure she is able to do the things that she needs to do for herself at home, like cooking her own meals, cleaning, managing her money, and getting to and from her paid job. But over the last 2 episodes of the podcast, my guest, Lex Alley from Big Life Adventure, was talking about the kinds of lives our young people can look forward to living. And what that made me think about was that there's more to life than just the practical skills that we need. We've helped our daughter develop her life plan, but it is focused on the skills she needs to live independently. And one of the things that Lex talked about was models that they looked at when they were developing this Big Life Adventure project, which is essentially a life planning tool, or at least part of it is. And one of those models was Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if you don't know anything about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's a psychology theory, and it's often pictured as a pyramid. So at the bottom of the pyramid are our physiological needs, so things like water, food, shelter, sleep, and clothing. Then there's our safety needs, so things like protection from physical and emotional harm and a safe place to live. Then our love and belonging needs, so things like love, affection, and obviously belonging. And this includes relationships with family and friends. Then our esteem needs, so self-esteem, confidence, achievement, as well as feeling respected by others and having a sense of accomplishment. And then at the top of the pyramid is our self-actualization needs. And this is all about the need to fulfill our potential and includes things like our creativity, personal growth, and self-expression. Now, I should mention that this model is not the only one out there, and not everyone agrees with it. But for me, what it did was give me another way to think about how we help our daughter get the life she wants, and to make sure that it is the life that she wants. And I look at this model and I can see how my daughter's life fits into this model. We provide for her physiological and safety needs. And actually, I think this is where most of us focus when it comes to our children, because we know that they need us to do this, and we know that they can be vulnerable. Where our children live is a massive issue. We not only want it to be warm and clean and safe, but we want them to be somewhere where they get the positive support that they need. And of course, there's always the money question, which needs addressing as early as we can do it, so we have time to build that financial fortress for them. And the big thing here too is how we focus on them being able to meet their own needs, to do things for themselves. This, as we all know, requires lots of planning and patience on our part, but it's also where we can make the most difference to the future lives they will have. When it comes to love and belonging needs, we also provide part of that as her family. But of course, there's more that needs to be done there. We also try and support her in terms of creating connections and finding her own community. This is often one of the hardest things to do to help them develop relationships, because there's also lots of external issues around acceptance that we have to help them deal with. But this emotional side of their lives is really important because we all know the importance of mental health in long-term happiness. When it comes to esteem needs, when I thought about it, I realised that my daughter's purpose, her paid job, is very much meeting her esteem needs. There's no doubt she gets a strong sense of achievement and accomplishment from working, as well as feeling accepted for the role that she plays within her team. And finally, at the top of the pyramid is self-actualization. So creativity, personal growth, and self-expression. Now, I can't say with any certainty if her needs are being met in terms of self-actualization, but if I was to take an educated guess, I would say that perhaps some parts of self-actualization, like personal growth, are coming from having that purpose. But I also think that obviously while she still lives at home with us, that some things like personal growth The opportunities maybe aren't there for her to perhaps have that as much as she would get it if she wasn't living with us, which is why we're working on a plan for her to move out into her own place. But that in some ways brings me back to what got me thinking about what her life will really look like. Often housing for our young people includes care and support, that at least at the moment, in most cases, seems to focus on meeting basic needs. In fact, some of the things that Lex mentioned were a little bit scary, where she talked about the focus being on activities rather than learning, and learning finishing when our young people leave school. And the idea that some people actually lived Groundhog Day. So what's the answer when it comes to housing? I wish I had one, although I'm increasingly seeing projects being developed, most often by families, which are about enabling people, not just caring for them. I do think that my daughter having a job plays a fundamental role in the way that she sees herself and takes her towards the top of the pyramid, if you like. Purpose is important for all of us, and it doesn't just come from doing things for ourselves. It comes from doing things for others, which is why when I talk about purpose, it includes volunteering and giving back as well as paid work. Lex talked about this in a way I hadn't thought about before, when she said, our young people are often seen as taking from society and not giving to society. Of course, we know that's not true, but if the perception is there, it will have a negative impact on our children's futures. But in a wider sense, all of this comes back to how our children are seen by others and by us. After listening to Lex, I realised I was still holding on too tight. And my role is not just to be there to support my daughter in helping her build the skills she needs to live everyday life, but it's to encourage her to think about more than just cooking for herself, to help her imagine more, to dream big, and believe in herself to live the life that she wants. I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope that the stories and the solutions shared on here help you as you support your young person to create their future. And if you know anyone who would find the ideas useful, please share the podcast with them. Of course, if you want to, you can leave a review, because that is another way families who need this information can find it more easily. This show is created as part of Red Giraffe Solutions. To find out what the Red Giraffe is all about, visit redgiraffesolutions.com, where you'll find more resources around daily living, relationships, purpose and financial security. I'm at Debra Caldow on Instagram and Facebook. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. I'd love to have a conversation with you on any of those. Bye for now.